How do I know that the Democratic Party is in trouble? They're spending money to research what men think so they can create a podcast that men will respond to. Like men are some kind of alien species. Like masculinity has to be decoded in a lab. Well, here's the reality. You had the most influential male voice in America, Joe Rogan, a guy with 15 million listeners per episode, and you tried to deplatform him.
The Democrats literally, everyone needs to know this, the Democrats just spent $20 million on a study about how to talk and connect with young men. Or just men, I guess, in general, but mostly young men. Like, they cannot figure out on their own the reason why they've completely isolated men, young men. They can't figure it out. I mean, everyone's literally telling them, and they decided to spend $20 million to pay someone else to go listen to Joe Rogan and come back to them and report back. Oh, and also it's because they've already tried a bunch of other ways. I don't know if you guys saw the Tim Walz video of him, I don't know, fixing up his car. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was trying to look manly and post it on YouTube. And obviously that didn't hit. So they are trying and failing so desperately. It's honestly so funny.
You dig in on what Democrats are researching right now, you're going to find a lot of silly stuff. You're going to find people asking a lot of questions, people asking about syntax and do I drop the G from this word and this and that, and it's going to be a lot of that. So let me just warn everybody, that process is going to be very obnoxious for this 40-something. I would also say, we're really talking about young men, right? Young men who Democrats have not figured out a consistent pitch for how to get in front of. And I think it starts with authenticity.
Boy. So we got to talk about the Democrat Party. A party that is a complete and total embarrassment. The clown show never seems to end. And Democrats are trying to figure out how to revive their party that is currently on life support. Okay. And part of the reason why the Democrat Party is in free fall is because they have lost men. Okay. Men have rejected the Democrat Party. And I think part of the reason why is, like I told you guys before the election, there's no reason, right? There's no logical reason for a straight man with normal testosterone levels to vote for a Democrat, right? There's just no reason whatsoever. If you are a straight man and you vote Democrat, again, I'm just going to assume that your testosterone levels are low, right? Chronically low, and that you need to get checked out, okay? And once those testosterone levels get back into the normal range, then, you know, you gain back your senses, okay? And you won't vote Democrat. So Democrats realize that men are running away from their party, okay? And again, I think part of the reason why is because leading up to the election, Democrats made it clear that they really don't understand men. And they also don't like men.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
All the women here tonight, talk to all the men that aren't here tonight. And all you brave men that are here tonight, talk to all the other men that aren't here tonight.
Enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
It's actually for all men. You know, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country. And not all men are just at home listening to Joe Rogan, being angry or being recruited to fascism. Some just need therapy.
The definition of masculinity going forward, is it toxic masculinity or is it a different kind of masculinity?
Right.
This table is driven by women. There is masculinity, and the definition of masculinity is on the ballot. As far as your question about breaking through, I like what she did when she was talking about John McCain and giving his thumbs up, because she was very real. Like, she's kind of let it rip a little bit.
Yeah.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Is it any real surprise in regards to why Democrats lost? I mean, this is not rocket science, right? When you look at why is it that men are rejected in the Democrat Party, it's very simple. Democrats don't want men, not real men, right? Not masculine men in their party.
I went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless, and we were talking about my kids because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said he was, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son, oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections.
100%.
Like my football playing son, who has no political views. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. You're deciding he's a racist because he wants to be a cop. And why does he want to be a cop? He wants to be a cop because he wants to help people, and he thinks that's the best way he can help people. And that's how the Democratic Party talks to men, not just white men, but men. And I get the idea that they thought Tim Walz could what's the term he used? Code switch or something? He thought that he could translate the Democratic Party values because he hunts and fishes and owns a gun and was in the army and drinks a beer. I mean, at least there was an attempt, but I find it just insane.
Okay, that's what makes it so hilarious that they are literally spending $20 million to study how to talk to men. Okay, let me give Democrats a news flash. If you have to spend money to learn how to talk to men, you're done, right? You're cooked. You might as well just get rid of the whole party and start over again, right? Like, you're not going to be successful. It's just like some of these dudes that pay money to get a dating coach, right? Or to learn how to talk to women, right? If you got to pay money as a dude to learn how to talk to women, then you're cooked. You have no hope, okay? I'm just saying. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Same thing when it comes to Democrats. If you have to spend money to learn how to talk to men, yeah, you're lost, right? You're a lost cause. So, like I said, man, Democrats are being roasted, right? They're being mocked.
A Sunday news report on Democrats' path forward had a detail that stunned and amazed political analysts and observers. In a weekend article entitled 6 months later, Democrats are still searching for the path forward, the New York Times reported on what comes next for the Democratic Party. One particular component of the Democratic Party institution's plan stood out to those on social media. That sections of the Times article reads as follows. Quote, the prospectus for one new $20 million effort, meaning something the Democratic Party insiders, donors are going to spend $20 million on, obtained by the Times, aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It's codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, and promises investment to, quote, study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces, close quote. It recommends buying advertisements in video games, among other things. And scene. The Democratic Party, the DNC, Kamala Harris, the entire Democratic campaign apparatus during the 2024 election. You could go to their various websites and click on let's see, what are they doing for women? What are they doing for black people? What are they doing for black women? What are they doing for the LGBTQ community? What are they doing for the disabled? What are they doing for the trans community? And da-da-da-da. Every fucking category except for men.
Our friends over at the New York Times are doing a series periodically looking into the Democratic Party and the challenges facing the Democrats as you try to run into the next election with some kind of momentum. Shane Goldmacher, among others, is doing this research, and he talks about in an article over the weekend a focus group led by a longtime Democratic researcher who asked some 250 people to describe or compare each party to an animal. And I want to read you what this found. Republicans are seen as apex predators like lions, tigers, and sharks, beasts that take what they want when they want it. Democrats are typically tagged as tortoises, slugs, or sloths, slow, plodding, passive. And then a little bit later, there was a respondee who said the Democrats are like a deer in headlights. How is it that you think that the Democratic Party has earned these descriptions?
John, I'm not focused on the animals that some New York Times reporter compares the political parties to. My constituents are human beings, and the human beings that I represent are facing devastating healthcare cuts, the most significant healthcare cuts.
Yeah, so you know the Democrats are in a really bad place, which CNN is confronting them with devastating news about what voters think about their party, right? And as you saw there, Debbie Wasserman Schultz had no real answer for why is it that voters feel this way. All she wants to do is boo-hoo, whine, and cry about Trump. And that's why I've been telling you guys, literally since Trump got in office, I was like, if Democrats are going to play this game of, well, we're just going to hate Trump no matter what, and we're not going to actually stand for anything, then they're going to lose, right? And look at what's happening right now. Okay, they have not made any progress, right? It's been, 4 or 5 months with President Trump in office? They have not made any progress in reviving their party, right? In fact, I think it's gotten worse, okay? To be honest with you, okay? We're at the point now where we are still discussing the fact that Democrats committed a cover-up, the worst cover-up in political history, at least since Watergate, right, with Joe Biden. And now they are moving on to try to figure out how to get back men, right? And they're studying men like men are animals, right? Like men are some species, some unknown species that, they just have to learn more about, right, in order to appeal to. And this is exactly the problem with the Democrat Party. They treat everything like a science experiment. There's nothing authentic about the Democrat Party at all. These are the same people running around talking about, we need to create our own Joe Rogan, right? Like, you don't just create a Joe Rogan. You just cannot create something out of thin air, right? I mean, there is no authenticity from the Democrat. The only authentic thing about the Democrat Party is their hatred for men, right? And their hatred for whites as well, too. That's what blows my mind. They openly say, we don't like men, especially masculine men, okay? Straight men, Christian men. We don't like, basically, most of the men in America. We don't like you guys. And we also don't like whites. And then they are shocked, and they have to do a study to figure out, why is it that white people and men are not voting for us? You can't make this stuff up, okay? You really can't. So You know, what I find to be more hilarious is that when discussing the issues of the Democrat Party, instead of getting a round table of masculine men, okay, to talk about this issue, no, they get a bunch of liberal women and skittle guzzling men, right, to talk about it, right? Which is exactly the problem. You don't even have masculine men in the party that you can talk to, right, about this, because there are no masculine men in the Democrat Party. It's nothing but high-calorie women and low testosterone men. That's it. Freaks and weirdos. That is the Democrat Party.
Some of the sort of demographic and geographic shifts. I want to dig in on one of them right now, which is new voters. And I want you to listen to what Dan Pfeiffer, who of course is one of the hosts of Pod Save America and a longtime Obama aide, said.
Democrats lost new voters for the first time. Obama got 58% of new voters in 2012. Biden and Clinton got 55%. Kamala Harris only got 49.5% of new voters. The message I take from this is anyone who thinks that we can get away with just tinkering around the edges, just hoping that Donald Trump becomes unpopular or they nominate some Yahoo in 2028, or we're going to ride the wave of tariffs and inflation to a narrow House victory, is just rearranging the dictionaries on the Titanic.
Bruh, I gotta stress this because I don't think these people see what I'm seeing, what is clear as day. Every single man that comes out as a representative of the Democrat Party on the left side of the aisle is zesty, right? Every single last one of them. All of them. Okay, they all have the same profile. Super skinny, right? Feminine. Okay, they look weak, right? They defer to women. Okay, they worship women. Like, what is this? Okay, even though, you know, what this dude is saying is true, right? What he's saying is true. But it's like, yo, if these are the people running things behind the scenes, then, again, it's no surprise. You have to get masculine men back in the party. I just don't think they have any. They don't. Again, where are the masculine, straight men, right? Where are they at? Where are they at? I think they're non-existent in the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things one of the big takeaways of the 2024 election. There are a lot of reasons that I think new voters came over to Donald Trump's side. But one of the reasons was because of sort of the unique social media approach that his campaign did really well. You'll talk to Democrats, they'll admit it. You'll talk to Republicans, they always mention it. He would go to UFC fights. He would go on sort of these new podcasts, which are not traditionally political. And that's how he gained a lot of his voters. And you're seeing Democrats try to replicate that. You've seen Gavin Newsom sort of come out and do this new political podcast. You're seeing them try to find ways to replicate that. But I think one of the problems that Democrats have is they don't yet have a core belief system. They're still fighting over what they should believe in going forward and what they should stand for almost.
Well, I mean, they're fake, right? And again, this is why the Gavin Newsom thing isn't working. His podcast is failing. Nobody's watching that because it's fake. He's a hardcore progressive. He's a progressive. He can't just come out and all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm moderate now, right? No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, it doesn't work that way at all. The reason why none of this stuff is working is because the Democrat Party is fake. Okay, you can't just wake up the next day and transform into something else. No, the whole party has to be rebuilt from the ground up. Okay, there is no other escape, right? There's no other alternative. But for whatever reason, Democrats think they can fake their way. They can fake their way. They can do a study, right? We can do a study and pretend to be something that we're not in order to bring back men. It's not going to work. Look at this CNN panel. You have liberal women discussing male issues. Again, this is the problem. CNN, you can't find any masculine men to discuss this issue, right? No, they can't. Apparently not. Apparently not.
Or they do. It's just a lot of what that is doesn't seem to be resonating beyond the coast, and that's a big issue. So we mentioned new voters, which is also young voters, another way to say that. And now I want to talk about men. And here's something from the New York Times. This is written by our friend of the show, Shane Goldmacher. The prospectus for one new $20 million effort obtained by the Times aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, and promises investments to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention And the virility in these spaces, it recommends buying advertisements in video games, among other things. So you're the man here. I will not mansplain you. All I will say is, duh.
Yeah, I know. Look, they should have probably recognized this a couple of cycles before when this trend was growing very apparent. This was a huge problem for them in the past election cycle, and they need to figure it out, because right now the Democratic message is really all over the place. What do they stand for as they head into the midterm elections? But right now it's a hope, really, among the Democratic leaders that voters will recoil what they view as overreach from the Trump administration. They will make the argument that they need to be in check on Trump's power and to use Trump's push to move ahead with this so-called big beautiful bill, which
AKA they don't stand for anything except being against Trump. And that's, again, the main reason why they're losing. Okay, if Democrats want to win back men, it's not rocket science. It doesn't need to be studied. It's very simple. Stop trashing men. Okay, stop trashing masculinity. Get some strong male figures in the Democrat Party to represent the party. Abandon far left woke politics. Come back towards the center, right? Become moderate, okay? Become moderate. And at that point, maybe, just maybe, Democrats might start to appeal to men again. But, until then, they're going to be stuck with this, right? This is what they're going to start doing. Studies and panels full of feminists, right, and women talking about why men are running away from the Democrat Party. The party needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. The Democrat Party, as currently structured, is a party of women, right? I mean, look at the leadership. Look at the polls. The people that are leading the Democrat Party are all women. Kamala Harris, AOC, Jasmine Crockett. They're all women, right? They're all women. And if this is what the future of the Democrat Party is, again, if it's the Kamalas, if it's the AOCs, if it's the Jasmine Crockett's, they have zero chance of winning back men. I don't care how much money they spend studying men like animals, right? I don't care how much they fake being moderate, right? Or, they try to do a wink and a nod towards trying to appeal to masculinity. It doesn't matter. The whole party has to be rebuilt. They have to make masculine men the leaders of the party again, right? And until that happens, they have no hope. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.